the results that came up of what I needed to do were extremely restrictive and just completely unrealistic. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a Q&A. So I'm going to be answering questions that I got on Instagram and TikTok. I just asked you guys like what fitness related questions you have, anything about health or fitness related, because I was going to do an updated fitness journey video / Q&A, but I ended up getting some really good questions that I wanted to answer in more detail. So if I combine those two together, it would just be a really long video. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that video after this one, but we're just gonna answer these questions first and let's just get into it. So the first question I got is, how many days a week do you work out / for how long? Well, right now I'm working out for about 5 to 6 days a week. It's about like 5 pretty intense days. On the 6th day, I kind of do take it a little bit easier. Basically, to break it down, I do currently 2 leg days, then I do 3 upper body days, and then I add in at least 1 cardio session a week. I'm really trying to get in 2, so yeah. Right now my lifting sessions take up kind of a long time. I would say probably anywhere from like an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. No longer than an hour and a half am I at the gym lifting. I personally just don't even like taking rest days. Like taking 2 full rest days a week for me, it's just not like that enjoyable. I like going to the gym and I like being able to move my body in some way every day. So, but at the same time, I don't want to overdo it, or I don't want to injure myself or overwork my body. And also, I would just mention that I built myself up to a routine and to a lifestyle where I want to work out like 6 days a week. It was not always that way, and I'm going to talk about this more in my fitness journey video. I used to work out probably like 4 days a week. I'm just going to go over that in my next video though. And the next question is tips on keeping yourself consistent. So this is a really good question, and I get a lot of questions about how do you stay motivated and how are you so consistent. I used to see working out as something that I had to do. It was more like a chore. I would have to like force myself to do like a program or a workout routine, and I've been there where it just has felt so hard to stay consistent or to want to show up and work out. I used to always see it as something that I had to do to stay healthy and not something that I actually wanted to do. And I also, in the mix, had like an unhealthy relationship with food, which turned into having a lot of health problems and not being able to move my body the way I wanted to. And when you don't have your basic health, when your body is already not functioning properly or at its best, it's really not easy to have fitness goals or be able to maintain that kind of a lifestyle. So ever since I had the ability to work out on a consistent basis, and my body was fully healed and ready to put on muscle, ready to get healthy, and my health was restored, I decided my workouts and my workout routine and my relationship with the gym was going to be something that I was going to do the healthy way. I was going to build this lifestyle over time. I was going to learn as I go. I wasn't going to put pressure on myself to see instant results, but I was going to put in the work every single day to work out, rest, recover, pay attention to what I eat and my mindset. I basically decided that after years of feeling weak and not having the energy or ability to get in the shape that I wanted to, that I was going to steadily build muscle and get strong and make it my lifestyle. I think that would be my number one piece of advice, is that you have to have a really good reason why you're going to keep showing up every day, why you want to keep showing up every day. It's also important to set reasonable goals. So if you can't even do like one push-up. Don't say, okay, in 2 weeks, I'm gonna do 10 push-ups. And then 2 weeks later comes and you can maybe do 1 or 2. And then for a lot of people, this cycle happens where, oh, like I failed at this goal I set for myself, so I'm just gonna give up. I feel like you have to have reasonable goals, and basically what I did is, like I said, I took it slow and I wasn't too hard on myself in the beginning. I set reasonable goals and I steadily achieved them and moved my way up from there. If you keep feeling like a failure, you're just not gonna want to keep trying. Also, what you could do, I mean, you don't have to do this, but by starting a social media account around my health and fitness journey, it did help me to want to stay consistent. I think it's fun to take pictures and take videos and track your progress in that way. So yeah, I definitely recommend like taking before pictures and taking progress pictures, because those can be fun to look back at. Even though sometimes I have like looked at my progress pictures and been like, oh my gosh, I don't even see any progress. But then there have been some times where I looked at them and I'm like, oh my gosh. And now when I look back at my before pictures or progress pictures from like 2 years ago and I see the way I've progressed now, it's actually insane. And it's so motivating when you do see that progress to want to keep going. Like, just looking back at my befores and like where I am now, how much muscle, how much strength I've gained in the last like 2 years, how much my body, my health, everything has improved. It's so crazy. So yeah. Okay, so the next question I got is, can you still gain muscle without tracking calories? I personally, in the beginning of my fitness journey, I did not track calories or macros at all. I didn't track my food, and for the majority of my fitness journey and gaining muscle, I wasn't tracking anything. And that's because my whole point when I first started was I needed to improve my relationship with food. I had a past of being really restrictive and restricting too much, and I found that the times that I would go on apps or calculators and I would put in my height, my weight, and my goals, that the results that came up of what I needed to do were extremely restrictive and just completely unrealistic for me and my lifestyle and my body. I wanted my mindset around food to be free and basically just allow myself to be able to enjoy food again and not have this like really negative mindset where like, oh, if you eat that, then this is gonna happen, or because that's how I used to think, and that's really, really unhealthy, and that led to me just avoiding so many foods for so long. And I wanted to completely get rid of that mindset where I felt like I had to be restrictive and avoiding different kinds of food. I wanted to increase my metabolism, and you're not really gonna increase your metabolism if you just keep eating at a low intake. I would say the number one thing that I did focus on was increasing my protein, and I also had to kind of go through this journey of figuring out what foods I liked and worked best for my body. I personally don't eat dairy. It gives me all kinds of like skin problems and gut health issues. It's just overall I can't have dairy, and that was something that I realized because early on in my fitness journey, I was like drinking a lot of whey protein, and I noticed like how bad it made me feel. I thought I was doing something healthy for myself personally, but for me, it really wasn't. So sometimes some foods don't work for you, so you kind of have to find alternatives and figure out what you like, what you can stay consistent with, because what works for one person might not work for the next person. Anyways, so you can gain muscle without religiously tracking your calories. I found focusing on the macronutrient profile of my meals gave me such a better mindset than thinking about calories all the time. There were times in my fitness journey where I thought, well, if I just go on an app and I plug in my numbers and I start making sure I hit these numbers perfectly, maybe I'll reach my goals faster. And I quickly figured out that just does not work for me, because I would go on the apps and it would tell me you need to eat 1,500 calories to reach your goal. And that was just not realistic for me at all. It made me miserable. It made me not enjoy my food. So I would go through that period of time where I would try it and then like miserably fail. So I decided that what I was gonna do instead, and this is what I do now, I figured out the amount of protein and carbs that I would need in order to steadily gain muscle. And I kind of just planned meals that I would eat every day that had enough protein in them so that I could hit those goals for the day. And if I were to eat out, I would find something healthy and high protein to eat with a good macronutrient profile also. Another way that you can up your protein without having to track is adding protein wherever you can. So I started just adding egg whites into things. So I put egg whites in my oatmeal, I put them in my eggs. It might not be for everybody, but it's personally what just worked for me. I get my protein, because I don't eat dairy, from meat, eggs, egg white, plant-based sources like plant protein, nut butter, chickpeas, things like that. So I would just also like figure out what foods you like, add extra portions of that will help. I also up my carbs. I need a good amount of carbs throughout the day, so I eat a lot of oats and rice, fruits and vegetables. Yeah, those are my favorite things to add to my meals. It really just depends on the person. Some people love to track their calories and macros with an app. Some people eat completely intuitively. I kind of go a little bit in between, where I eat intuitively. I don't live my life based on a calculator, but I also aim for high protein foods, high protein meals, and just make sure that I'm being sustained throughout the day with carbs and fat and protein, and not just kind of eating whatever I might want. I've kind of trained myself to crave things that are healthy, because that is just what makes me feel my best. But of course, I still treat myself, and if I want something occasionally that might not be the healthiest thing ever, then I'm gonna have it. You definitely want to have balance. I would say I probably eat like 80% healthy, 20% if I want something, if I'm craving something, I have it. You can also check out, I have a whole playlist on TikTok of what I eat in a day and food meal inspiration. And the last question I'm gonna answer is, do you have any general tips? I would say my biggest tip, or like my biggest piece of advice, is to, if you're gonna go on a health fitness journey, or if you have fitness goals, is to make sure that you're doing it solely for you. That's kind of the basis that I built my lifestyle on. I was just really tired of living in the mindset I had been living in for so long, and I wanted to set my own goals and achieve my own goals. Also being able to love myself at my before and stay in that mindset now, it really just changes the acceptance that you feel for yourself. And be patient with yourself, do it for yourself. If you're trying to do it for other people, you're just gonna always feel rushed and like you have to look a certain way or you have to be a certain way. And that's not the whole point. The whole point is to get healthy for you. I especially found like if you have an off day, or you have a day that you're bloated, or you just have a bad body image day, which happens to pretty much everybody, on those days, like, are you going to beat yourself up because you're worried about how other people are going to perceive you, or are you going to tell yourself it's okay, this is just one of those days, tomorrow will be better, and if not, I'm gonna keep trying, next week will be better. You really just have to do it for yourself, and that will take a lot of the pressure off things. But yeah, I hope you guys like this Q&A. I really liked filming it. I love answering questions like this. But yeah, I think that's everything for this video. So thank you for watching, and thank you for all of the really nice comments lately. It makes me so happy to see like so many people saying nice things. It's just really cute and it makes me really happy. So, and yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.